Hello, everyone, and welcome to Next Generation Saints. I'm your host, Nick Coons. There's a lot of stuff spinning inside my head. I was been notified. Well, it's been going on for a while, but I was watching these videos about children being groomed, and I mean the word groomed. Now, I know when people hear when they say groomed, like you're a pedophile, you're grooming a child to have sex with you, or something of that nature. And there's still grooming going on. But what I've been noticing a whole lot at schools is the news coming in left, right, and center about transgenderism. I hope I'm not butchering that word here. That is causing schools to turn a blind eye to evil that is taking place in the school system. What do I mean by evil? Well, the transgender movement going into the schools, teaching children that boys can be girls and girls can be boys, and that your gender is a fluid type of system inside of you, that you're just walking around in one giant meat bag called your body, and that if your brain doesn't line up with your body, then you need to contort your body to match your brain. This contortion has led to pure evil taking place in the schools and the school districts, the teachers, the teacher and faculty staff, and the board members ignoring evil things happening. There are boys who think that they are girls, and they know they're not really girls, but they'll play along. They'll put on skirts, go inside the girls' restroom, and there have been accounts where girls were raped vaginally and anally in the restrooms, where faculty saw this happening, but out of fear of what was going on, fear of social ramifications. Like if they came out and said, hey, look, this transgender boy, this boy pretending to be a girl is raping girls in the bathroom, they would receive such social attack because, oh, you're just a bigot. You don't accept these people for who they are. This whole movement has caused evil, and the innocent, morally innocent, not just virgin, but morally innocent children to being scarred for the rest of their life. I was hearing about this, just absolutely flabbergasted, that these schools are putting in pornography in the school libraries. The teachers are allowing, there was one from Project Veritas, I forget where it was. If you have a chance to go to Project Veritas on Google and look up, they recently had a private school, I think it was Delaware, maybe, or no, it was Brooklyn, I'm not sure. Look at Project Veritas, but basically the superintendent, this teacher, the one who's in charge of helping the school, that was making the final decisions on a lot of things, and were responsible for the children, were handing out butt plugs and dildos, inviting drag queens in to talk about gay sex, how gay sex works. Do you spit or do you use lube? He went into graphic detail, and this guy was just talking like this was the greatest thing in the world. These are children, like 5, 8, 10 years old, children being taught about butt plugs and dildos. These are, and if you have never heard of them, I doubt you've never heard of these things, but say you haven't heard of it. Butt plug goes in your butthole, and it is basically a plug for your butt, and it's supposed to give you a sexual pleasure out of it. A dildo is a sex toy for women that goes in the vaginal area. Pretty simple, straightforward. Now, these things are adult toys, so I would expect if you're 18 years or older and you want to experiment with these sex toys, I personally would disagree with you on them, but you have the right in this country to do that. You do. You're an adult. You can make up your own mind. You can decide to go to a gay night party club or try dildos or butt plugs or whatever the heck you want to try. I'll always advocate for the gospel and for not living a particular not to live that lifestyle out whatsoever. I believe it's wrong, but you do have the right to try it. Now, here's the interesting thing. I was thinking about this. When the LGBT movement started happening, And I remember this back when I was in high school going into college, because my church had pulled me over and said, hey, the gay community is starting to rise and rise more and rise more. What do you guys think? And they were asking, I remember my church, because I went to United Methodist Church at the time in Bishop, what I thought of it. And we didn't really know much. We were coming up with all sorts of answers, like maybe this is God's way of, slowing the population down. I didn't have an answer. I wasn't a theologian. I had no idea what I was talking about, but they're asking what we thought of it. Well, instead of guiding us and saying, let's talk about it, asking some questions about us, and then engaging in that conversation. But now you have schools that are, first of all, when it comes down to like this, Kirk Cameron was invited to go to was going to go to a library to read publicly with children and read some things from the Bible. He was canceled for a drag queen. These people are becoming sexual predators, sexually grooming your children. It's interesting. I made an episode about this on my podcast, about the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir, how they came out and said, we are coming after your children. We are going to convert your children. We're going to make them less bigoted. We're gonna groom them to the way we want them. Your children that came from your loins, that you produced with your wife or your husband, that the two of you in holy matrimony produced together, the flesh of your flesh, the blood of your blood, they are coming after them. And now it's going into private schools where they're teaching kids about sex. These are 8 to 10-year-olds. 8 to 10. 5 at the earliest. They're taking them early and teaching. And now the LGBT community, who is now really screwed up, the transgenderism has screwed up so many of our schools, because they're telling children, are you really a boy? Are you really a girl? These children are so impressionable that they're suddenly going, what's going on with me? They're confused. And not because they were originally confused about their gender, not like having honest conversations about gender. It was because they have been taught to be confused about their gender. They have been brainwashed into being confused about their gender. That's what I'm looking at here. This is pure evil. Remember when Jesus was talking about this in the Bible, he was saying about how that if one of you were to cause these little ones to stumble, and I believe it would be better if you were to put a millstone around your neck and throw yourself in the deepest part of the ocean. These people are doing nothing but evil, and they are school district appointees. They are people that we voted into school districts, who we have chosen to they're going to pick what kind of books. Now, this rape that happened in school that I mentioned earlier, the teacher didn't turn it in, and the school district didn't report it, and the kid was transferred to another school, simply separated from their victim, and they raped 3 more times, 3 different girls. Finally, when a father found out about the rape, went to the school board district meeting and started screaming at the school, what the living heck is going on here? Their answer was, well, calm down. You're being totally divisive. You are a disgruntled man coming in, causing all sorts of chaos. Excuse me, his daughter was raped. This is where I look at it and go, these school districts are more concerned about the narrative and being so scared of the woke, liberal, leftist, satanic mob than worrying about what God's word states and where their soul is. This is where I look at our country and our education system, and I said, if you're, don't get me wrong, I was raised with teachers. My mother is a teacher, a 2nd grade and 3rd grade teacher. I was raised in the education system, but I look at this and go, this is why I can't. It freaks me out. We're told to entrust our children to an education system that is now teaching them about dildos and butt plugs at the age of 5 and 10, all the way up to 10, and not more. There's probably a heck of a lot more going on here. Project Veritas was only probably able to just scratch the surface of everything that's going on in these schools. More people are pulling their kids out of school, public school, and educating. We need to bring the church back and have a thing in the church where we have actual teachers, like educators, like actually licensed teachers, we can, as a church, pull together and create like a salary for them, privatizing our school, and having God as the center of our morality and how we educate. Let me give you an example here, because you might look like, oh gosh, well, we put God inside there, we're going to have to be like, ugh. Our modern day scientific system that we use to measure science, right? How science works, which is about study of process. That was created by Christians. Modern day astronomy was created by Christians. The person that discovered DNA was a Christian. The person who discovered about proteins and amino acids was a Christian. The person who discovered about the laws of nature, Sir Isaac Newton, was a Christian. The list goes on and on. The person who created the particle accelerator was a Christian. These people believed in order and design and the fundamental principles of a godly life and a biblical life. And now Satan has come in and is twisting our children by getting perverts and sexual predators to go in and educate our kids and show them things that they are not ready for yet. And that parents should be deciding when they should be educating their children. When I talk about sex, I'm not going to a 5-year-old or 10-year-old. If I talk about sex, first of all, it's going to be probably an adult. And if someone comes up, I'd rather be like, hey, if you're under 18, rather have this conversation, but let's talk to your parents about it first. We can all have this conversation about it or see what your parents think. If someone talks about it, it needs to be age appropriate. Parents need to be fully involved in this stuff. This is a godly principle, guys. So when I see these things taking place in our school systems, and I see how these school administrators have no fear of God in their hearts, they have no fear of the parents in their hearts, they only want to go for this woke sexualization agenda. This can't fly, guys. It simply cannot fly. We need to hold these people accountable. Check in with your schools. See what the arithmetic is. See what the education is. See what they're teaching the children. And if it's books like pornographic materials or LGBTQ plus minus, happy face emoji, whatever it may be, you got to talk to them and say, no, I don't want to have my child raised this way. I don't want to have them see this stuff. I want to be the one who dictates it, because right now the schools are saying your children don't belong to you. The school districts are now saying that your child belongs to the state, not you. It's very George Orwell 1984. Very much towards that direction. In fact, I was looking more and more at George Orwell about what transpires in the book. And it's so funny because we always, me and some of my coworkers are like, it's not supposed to be a blueprint for what's going on right now. It's supposed to be a fictitious story connected to some reality. And everyone's kind of chuckling, but we all get the same point. That the sexualization of children, the exploitation of them, telling them that the state owns your children, and that now with the social justice warrior movement, about the liberalization, the satanic movement, about abortion being pushed out there, population control taking place, forced vaccinations on people, all these things are culminating into an absolute communist takeover. It is a Marxist satanic takeover. We can stop this, folks. We can. We have to raise our voices up. But it has to be on the individual level. It has to be within the home. We need to seek God's will. We need to seek and read the Bible. That's what we need to do. We need to be involved in our children's lives more and more and more. But yeah, I just saw this and it was just absolutely disgusting to me that these are little children in a classroom, the innocent children. And here they are. Let's bring drag queens in. All right, kids, let's talk about what lube does. Do you want to spit on your penis and put it in another man's butthole? Because that's gay sex. It's good. Look, let me touch you, little children. Let's spit on your hands and rub it on your penis. Let's touch these little girls and whatnot. That's what's happening. It sounds disgusting. It sounds perverse. And it is. But that's the reality, and I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm not here to hold back from you. I'm not here to sugarcoat it for you. I am delivering the blunt, honest truth of what is going on. Maybe you'll be shocked enough to go and do something. I just pray before you do anything, you seek God's wisdom first and foremost. So Christmas is coming up. I know, total shifting the gears here. I'm going to try to make an episode before Christmas. I will be going traveling to Bishop, California to go see family coming up. That should be pretty interesting. I haven't been back there for quite a while. Finances were stopping. And then on top of that, COVID shut everything down, and now we're finally getting on our road back up there. So we're hoping to see some people in Bishop and whatnot. Should be pretty fun. Hopefully. After all, it's visiting family during holidays, and it's more as you get older, you're rolling the dice on that one. You have no idea what's going to trigger the family to have an argument, and blah blah blah. That's always a fun part. But we'll see. So I'm going to hopefully pump out an episode about Jesus, the Nativity, and all that fun stuff. So, until next time, we meet again. May God richly bless y'all, my dearly beloved.